not acknowledge that East Port of Spain is on the boil. People are protesting the quality of life, jobs, and those issues. That what took place is a boil over, a ferment of a larger issue. Do you agree or not?
You ready for me to answer now?
Well, I'll ask you this question.
As far as I know, the people on the Beaton protested and so on because two persons well known to them were arrested by the police and they showed their disaffection with it and they went into protest mode. One. In the East Dry River, about 2 weeks ago, the police, it is alleged, went in there and the people are saying that a young man was killed by the police and they protested as a result of that. Okay. In the middle of protests, I've seen protests in Dibé, I've seen protests in Barapore, I've seen protests in Point Fortin, I've seen protests all over this country. In the middle of those protests, when the journalists interview people, you will hear people starting to talk about things like jobs and so on, and opportunities and nothing happening in their communities. I'm mindful of that. But those protests of which you spoke had to do with police action as far as they are concerned, dealing with criminal behavior in the communities. And when the police acted, there are some people who felt the police should not have so acted. Minister, that's what I understand.
Okay, that's your answer. Two brief questions. My colleague Kivan wants to ask one briefly.
Minister, education anti-gang law. What associating with a gang member or the leader of a gang be against you?
No, you have to be, and the law itself says what the evidence must be if you have to be proved to be involved in gang activity, if you have to be proved to be a gang member, if you have to be proved to be a gang leader. The law says what the evidence would be. Associating with or knowing a gang member or talking to a gang member is not in itself an offense. One, it will have to be proved that you were part of the gang, you were involved in gang activity, and just talking to somebody, God knows, maybe I speak to gang leaders and I don't know. Because you know what is a gang? A gang is where...
attending your swearing in,
yes,
that is known to the police,
yes,
that has been implied as a member of the gang,
yes,
would that be a step above this associated?
I don't understand the question. What is it?
My question is a somewhat leading question.
Yeah, please. You're welcome.
My question is, and when Ms. McDonald was sworn in,
yes,
the question was people that attended that swearing in was one of the reasons the Prime Minister said, as head of the National Security Council, he had to remove her.
Yes.
The government is now putting forward anti-gang legislation.
Yes.
And at the same time, appointing someone as a minister.
Oh, I get your drift now. So the point, this is what...
It could be said, that is a little more than just you and I and our associates we just met for the first time.
Yeah.
But I would not invite you to, or you would not invite me to your swearing in.
No, I get your drift now. And I was answering you.
Right.
If you associate with, or speak with, or are traveling in a car with a gang member known to be the police, and the police lock up him and others for being part of the gang, you're traveling in the car with, you're speaking with, you're doing some business with, maybe buying from him or he buying from your store, does not make you a part of the gang. It will require more than that. With your knowledge and you're involved in gang activity. So if you are suggesting, on the example you gave, I think you know, that somebody else is a gang member, that might not be the case. The reason why the Prime Minister acted would have been for different considerations than to say someone was a member of a gang. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Minister, last question. I have many more, but I'll let you go. I brought out, for the purposes of this discussion, my own tattered, you could see this on an old document, major party documents, which includes the People's Charter of 1956.
Yes.
Is one of my treasured documents. I understand the copy you have is of recent vintage. You see how long I have this? Many years. So, when things are bad with me, I'll take it to Balize House and auction it. I'll get a nice raise. Out of all of this, I'm going to read one paragraph. There are two statements, one paragraph. It's on page 22, and invite a comment from you. I'll read it. Here it is. Nor are we an ordinary party in the accepted narrow sense of the word. We are rather a rally, a convention of all and for all, a mobilization of all the forces in the community, cutting across race and religion, class and color, with emphasis on united action by all the people in the common cause, hence our name, the People's National Movement. After 62 years, can you say that the PNM has delivered on its vision?
Oh yes, and if this country, whatever its imperfections, the place we are at in terms of educating our citizens.
Do you represent all the people in a real meaningful way?
Of course, we always have. That's why the people have supported us as vociferously and as steadily and stoically as they have done over all those years, because they know we represent their interests. They know where Bali and Balize grow.
And you represent the diversity of Trinidad and Tobago in a true sense?
Of course we do. We always do, man. In fact, when you look at other countries in the world where you have seen racial strife, people coming to war in India, in Pakistan, on racial and ethnic grounds, Rwanda and other countries, Nigeria some years ago with the Biafran situation, ethnic strife and fight and murder and mayhem in Israel. When you see, for example, religious strife like in Northern Ireland, Syria, Lebanon, and other places, Trinidad and Tobago has escaped, and not just by chance, but it is because of careful management of this country, largely led by the PNM, that we have not had the experiences of other countries. And therefore, on that basis, we could be proud as a nation. We have lived here, every one of us coming here at different times under different circumstances. Some are slaves, some wanting economic benefit, some as indentured servants, some coming on different streams and different times, but altogether we are an example to the world in terms of harmony and living side by side with each other. Different religions, Islam, Hinduism, Catholicism, Christianity, you know, well, Orisha, the Orisha tradition.
The skeptics
and all
might
of
say,
these, I'll tell you something, we have done particularly well as a nation.
The people
and you should give yourself as a Trinidadian and give us credit for this. We have done well.
The skeptics may say that the country has held the social ferment together in spite of and not because of the politicians. Last point, I wrote last week, in that chair we had Mariano Brown sitting and discussing the state of the economy. When I wrote on social media...
Before we go to that, I want the benefit of your thought. Do you not think we have done well as a nation?
I think we have. I think we certainly have.
Thank you. Proceed to the next point.
Yeah, but let me also say, and there could be an argument that in spite of the politicians, and not because of the politicians, because I could sit and debate you.
It is the politicians that establish the constitution of this country, which guarantees religious, racial, gender rights to people. And by the way, there's a constitutional court where any citizen who feels, and it happens all the time, every day, that his constitutional rights have been abused, he or she can go to the constitutional court and will get redress, have gotten redress, damages and compensation, reinstatement in many cases. We, Trinidad and Tobago, have established, we have the Equal Opportunity Tribunal as well. And by and large, at the level of the citizen, we have lived in harmony. We see interracial marriages. We see young people working together everywhere. We see church, I see Hindu mosque right next door to Muslim Hindu temple, right next to Muslim mosque. We do that. I see in a place in this country, they showed me the other day, the mosque next door, and they're using the Hindu the temple's car park next door. In many countries of the world, you will never see that. I see intermarriages, interrelationships.
A lot of that may be in spite of the politics.
I'm telling you, it is the constitution that set the basis. It is the backbone of the well-being of the society, and it has served us very well. I think we ought to be complimenting each other.
As I let you go, I had last week here, sitting in that chair, Mariano Brown, when I reported on social media, on Facebook, that I was inviting him here, you wrote that he is free to mount any platform except one, which is the one he's not permitted to mount.
I said he is free to mount any platform except one.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I quoted you as saying.
course.
Which is the one he can't mount?
That is what I said.
Oh, which is the one he can't mount?
I
You're
said-
repeating the same thing.
I said that is what I said.
All right. Minister Fitzgerald Hines, thank you very much for your kind time. We've enjoyed it. You're very generous with your time. I am very grateful. Still quite a lot to talk about. Hope you'll be kind enough to come and join us again.
I'd rather if you bring Mr. Dayal Singh and Mr. Garcia on your next
But
round.
yeah, but we'll bring you. We'll invite you back some
I'd
other
be
time.
very happy to be with you.
Thank you again, Minister, for your kind time. As we go, just a few things to say. We thank Devan Maharaj for talking to us. We apologize to Dr. Fuad Khan, who we had lined up to talk about his proposal for the addition of Mr. Pandey and others into the front line of the UNC as it heads to the government. And finally, as we go, as we thank our callers, our listeners, all of you locally and internationally for your text messages and so on. Today is Pagua Holi. It's the change of the season in Canada. How Canada got into this? In India, running out of tired now. And it is the Festival of Colors and so on. Happy Pagua to everyone. And if our cameras are on, Kivan has the cameras on, and we have now a beautiful spectacle in that a number of practitioners who are observing Pagua. I have entered the studio. Minister Hines is mingling with them and exchanging smiles. I don't know what else they have, but I see a drummer and so on. So we end on a very light note. Thank you for being in our audience. Thank you so much. I expect Anne will take the microphone and indicate what is going to take place. Thank you again, Minister. Those who are observing Pagua, enjoy yourself, be safe. My name is Ken Ali. Thank you very much for your time and extended time. Apologies to Alicia for taking 15 minutes of her time. God willing, I plan to be here just after the 12 o'clock news tomorrow. Stay tuned. A little more excitement is going to take place in our very studio. And as late as the minister is, I know he's going to indulge us with a few minutes.
Exactly 16 minutes after 1 o'clock, u97.5 FM Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio this afternoon. The only multicultural radio station in Trinidad and Tobago. And this afternoon, listeners, we have in our midst members of the Om Shanti Ashram Kirtan and Chautal group led by Anushka Yashoda Ramlal and Carissa Rupnarain. Lead drummer this afternoon, we have Chandrasekhar Ramlal. We have Pandit Dave in our midst, and we're getting set to serenade the Minister Fitzgerald Hines, Minister in the Ministry of the Attorney General. Big things happening on u97.5. We go live in 2 seconds. Also, this clip is dedicated to Sita. She's locked on and crying right about now, missing out in the festivities. So let's go. Lead drummer Chandrasekhar Ramlal, lead singer Anushka Yashoda Ramlal, and Carissa Rupnarain. Not forgetting Amelia Ramlal, Mrs. And Sita, we love you.